Absolute Batman, issue 6, Scott Snyder writing with Nick Dragota on the art. So, the civilians of Gotham have been tempted with cash prizes to commit crimes with all the masks and weapons that have been dropped off around the city. And specifically, Mayor Gordon's like, hey, $1 million for him. So it's really tempting everyone to turn into like just absolute bastards. And Batman spends a lot of his time in this issue trying to get to the source of like all this tech working to try and shut it down, to stop all this chaos from happening. As we get a little bit more, the flashbacks with him and his mom and like having the sleepover with the other kids. Which actually turns out to be a nightmare because he has a whole thing where he sees his mum getting shot, and then they tease her getting shot like in the present day story later on, and I thought, oh god, is this arc going to end with Martha finally dying?
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, and they didn't, but that's the weird thing here. This was a little bit more effective than it normally would be when you tease a character dying, because part of us are all going, well, she's Martha Wayne, she's destined to die.
That's as long as they don't pull this like again. Well, they can't pull this every arc.
No, but I mean, why would you jump to that assumption right now?
I don't know.
That's a Snyder.
I think it's like you say, because we're all going, well, she's Martha, she's probably going to die at some point. Because that's in the back of our heads, I think there's a fear that they might play on that, like, semi-regularly.
Well, I mean, this was only the time they've done it so far, so it was quite effective here, and I enjoyed it. Obviously, Batman's able to stop everything before the guys with the masks. Like, basically, all the payment and stuff goes down, so like, oh, I guess this isn't working anymore, we may as well not bother. So, and we also see Julia Pennyworth getting nabbed, which looks like she's getting nabbed by a bad guy, but then later we find out it was actually just her dad, like, getting her out of harm's way. So, yeah, we got that. But, I mean, a lot of this, though, is, like, the action of Batman going to the boat, Black Mask's boat. There's a very Dark Knight Returns panel with him jumping full page splash with the lightning behind him. Obviously very intentional. And there's this thing where he's been really brutal in beating up the various like main henchmen that he's got, but he's given them life preservers before he throws them into the water, which is what I thought was just a great touch, because it was like, I'm not going to kill you, but
drop kick a kid off the boat.
Whoa.
Don't jump there yet.
That's not a drop kick. That is a punt.
That's yeah. So in the terms of sports, Pete, that's a drop kick. In the terms of wrestling, it's a punt. So there's a difference. For what me and you think of as a drop kick, which is the run, double foot, middle of the ring, jump kick.
Yes.
Versus what you would see in rugby, and I don't know. Do you do drop kicks in soccer?
No, but it's rugby. It's a drop kick. Yeah.
I've never heard that term in relation to sport.
But for us, Pete, it's a punt, because that's how I described it. But before that, the one that got me is where he attacks the DJ. And then he throws it around their neck, and then throws them or kicks them off the boat. And the whatever that guy is, that mutant guy, kind of reminds me of Jason as he's floating in the water there. Just the messed up face and whatnot.
I gotta see it.
Yeah,
I gotta see it.
And then probably my favorite part in the whole book, and it's just because I hate children.
No, it's Batman holding up the kid, and the kid's swinging a knife but can't reach him.
I'll kill you! I'm gonna stab you! And he just drop kick punts him into eternity.
Yes,
I love it.
Just funny stuff. Super into it. I think the action here is what makes it so much fun. It's a build to get to Black Mask, and then Batman beats the shit out of him as well.
Also, like, how does he not break his neck when he smacks him with a bowling ball in the face? It looks like
it's just action movie logic. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like when you're playing with Batman and like him actively going out of his way of not killing by throwing the life jackets like 4 pages earlier, show me him cracking a dude's face with a bowling ball.
Yeah, but let's just say that Black mask is reinforced. So Batman knew this because he's Batman.
Okay.
And he only picked up like 8 pounds. Like, I know that's a lot still. You don't want to be hit with 8 pounds. But he just picked up a light
Matt,
bowling ball.
How about I smack you in the face with an 8-pound bowling ball and we'll see how much it hurts.
look, I'm not Black Mask. All right, I don't have a reinforced, so it's gonna hurt a lot.
We'll get you a reinforced mask.
Yes. Nice big red hood mask for him. It'll fit nicely. Yeah. At one point, Black Mask here actually like pulls out like one of those like cords to like try and choke Batman, and like he's got like around his neck, and there's blood coming from Bat. It felt like a violent fight. Like I'm going to give it that. Like they really went out of their way to make it feel quite visceral. But Batman ultimately wins by having his ears point forward and then just stabbing them into the mask. I mean, I'm assuming that he's not just blinded Black Mask, even though technically
I think he definitely has.
he probably should have given this action that he has just pulled off. So, absolute Batman, he will cut off limbs and he will blind someone if they've earned it.
You don't need your eyes to live. You know? So, Bruce was just like, yo, we're done.
Oh, dear. I mean, and to be fair, he was being strangled to death when he pulled this off, so it was a last resort, so relatively speaking.
I thought he was just going to headbutt him until he stopped. Where I was like, oh, we're going to get the Batman headbutting Black Mask. And then when the ear started going down, I went, wait, what's going on here? Is he cutting the cords? Right? And then you turn the page and he's headbutted him, but with the ears down, like a saber-toothed tiger.
This full page is what I saw on Twitter, like not long after reading it, and I'm like, glad I read that first.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
A shame.
But even Black Mask gets the life preserver and gets thrown over the boat because Batman wants to blow up the boat, so he's made sure that everyone's off it first. But he's left in pretty bad shape. He falls into the water, and this is all intercutting. We're jumping panels with the flashback and the mum giving him the pep talk and how she likes that photograph of him and the friends, even though it was the day that his dad got killed. And it's also intercutting with Martha and Gordon's near-death experience. And Martha punching a bad guy in the face because she's Martha Wayne, and it runs in the family, apparently.
She had a bowling would have done more damage.
It's just the thing, too, that makes this, like, not pathetic in a bad way, but just the people and the kind of the point I feel like Snyder's making is they just stop and take the masks off and they go, oh, there's no more money? Right? Which 4 seconds ago, they were ready to shoot this lady, right? So just to see Martha knock this dude out.
Not like just shoot her for the sake of it. Right?
Yeah. But it's like, come on, man. So I do like seeing her just, punching the dude.
I think I'd respect them more if they just wanted to kill someone. Only doing it for the money and then immediately just not doing it when the money's not an offer anymore makes me respect them less.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of people who would kill someone for $1 million. Like, realistically.
Depends who the target is.
I think
some people I would do for free.
Well, yeah. I have very little faith in most of society, is what I'm saying here. That I think for $1 million, I think most people would kill someone.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's what Snyder's, saying, and there's a take on the kind of the social media aspect of it too, right? Because that's where the party animals were getting the orders from, right?
Yeah.
Is in those masks. It was kind of like a social media thing. So, kind of just the thing that people jump in to do things just because it almost seems like there's this incentive there, but they don't. Their hearts really aren't into it, So yeah, seeing Martha KO a dude is pretty great.
Yeah, I'll kill Connor for maybe 10 grand. I don't need $1 million.
So Connor's the guy that comes up and says nobody. There at the bottom, like when it has like Gordon listed as the mayor and then Martha's the deputy. Then it says nobody, and it says 10 grand.
Yes. No, so the end of the book is that Alfred has stuck around and he actually pulls Batman out of the water and starts to patch him up.
It took me a second to realize what this was. So I'm like, what the hell is pulling up? And I was like, oh, it's Alfred in a submarine.
To be fair, it is a fairly weirdly shaped submarine.
Well, it looks like a pickup truck almost, or like the big bat dump truck.
I was say it's a weirdly shaped Batmobile. So
yeah.
No, I mean the implication I got based on his previous conversation with his daughter, where she like doesn't want to leave and he like kind of forces it anyway, is that he's agreed to come back and help try and fix Gotham because his daughter's refusing to leave it, and it's kind of like I don't know, like sweet in a way, but also sort of begrudging. Like, okay, she's not leaving, and I don't want to force her to, so I'm going to have to help this bat idiot, like fix up the city, kind of thing.
This boy needs refinement.
Yeah,
is that thing, which I kind of love because it's Alfred.
So, yeah, that's where it wraps up, and this is technically the end of the first arc. So this will be where the first trade ends. Which it does kind of work in that. It doesn't feel like obviously like an ending, but it does feel like Alfred choosing to come and work with them does feel like a sort of a very defining evolution of where that relationship has been throughout this first arc. And Black Mask has been taken care of, so they have dealt with the initial villain, I suppose. So, no, but I think that's maybe a testament to the story not feeling like it's revolving around who the villain is, and it's more about who this version of Batman is, and that's definitely not something we're done with exploring.
That was a big subversion with half of his rogues now actually being in on it.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's actually another good point that happens in here is that Batman goes to Croc, Wayland, and says, "Hey, I'm Batman. I need your help." And it turns out everyone else in the group finds out, and he's like, "Yeah." Riddler says he figured it out weeks ago.
Of course he didn't. Yeah.
I got a chuckle out of that. Is he him claiming that you already figured it out?
That's just like, that kind of means that we won't ever get these become the rogues. I don't think. If we do, it'll be a very, very, very different relationship.
Yeah, very different for sure. Yeah. Well, one of the big things I was talking about a few issues ago was this idea that he was using this weird group of friends that he has because they all still kind of have ties to like what they have in the regular universe. But, Harvey's still a lawyer, so he has ties to the justice system. Like Oswald is like someone who works with organized crime, and Riddler's still doing stuff with his tech. It kind of feels like he's getting all this intel from all these various locations because he's connected to these insiders rather than them just being villains.
It's more likely now that this is his team. Like this is his, like instead of having
Bat family.
Yeah, instead of having Oracle and Robins, he's got these guys instead.
Although. Eventually, I expect there's going to be at least one absolute Robin. Now, who that Robin is open for debate.
I don't know, like
how that goes.
I don't know how you bring a Robin into this version of Batman.
I don't think you do it as a kid. I think you do it as a partner. Is what I think.
Why don't you do a kid, but you do like a kid who's like, like 16 rather than
definitely the kid who just punted off the boat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Pete, this is a universe where kids get punted off of boats. You cannot bring a kid into the absolute universe fight.
I'm saying someone who's,
never mind, Wally's a kid. Ignore me.
Yeah, in their teens, like verging on like almost being an adult. So it's not about that age.
I definitely can see it more being the Batman Forever kind of older Robin that stumbles across them, But also, don't think we also got Catwoman, and maybe like if he's gonna have a partner, maybe it's gonna be Selina in this, right? And it'll be Batman and Catwoman instead of Batman and Robin.
I mean, I don't know if they'll go that way because I mean, I don't see why Catwoman's like frenemy or like romantic tension or anything like that is going to have to be anything different because there's no Robin. Like, I don't think it's going to like redefine as like this universe's version of the Robin. It'll just be this. She'll still just be this universe's Catwoman. If that makes sense.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But maybe in this universe we don't need because he has this partner that he gets at in Selina. You know what I mean?
No, I just think that they will not be able to resist having a story where there's an absolute Robin because they can market it as this storyline is where we introduce absolute Robin. They're going to do it.
I hope it is the Squid Kid. He kicked off the boat.
It's not the Splatoon kid. No, I was trying to think. What was the video game of the squids? What's the one where they become squids?
I do not know.
You're a squid now. You're a kid now. I don't know. It's a Nintendo thing. It's not my area of expertise.
Anyways, this epilogue that's super creepy.
Oh yeah, the epilogue, of course.
What is this?
Well, this is obviously we teased this Joker who does not laugh before.
Yes.
It seems like he's hooked up to something.
So is this supposed to be Joker then?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Look at the eyes. 100% this Joker.
Yeah, it's Joker. But the guys to reporting to him is like, hey, the whole party animal thing's not went down well in Gotham. We've hit a snag, and Joker's final line is "Get Bane," and we just were talking in the solicits about how Bane's on the cover for one of the issues. So
it seems to have a few like Ra's al Ghul elements. Like with the immortality, like he's draining the life from these things because obviously it's like withered hands, and then it's a young hand on the last page.
It looks like he has blood boys.
Yeah, well,
it does have blood boys,
but it looks like he was white Joker-esque before he rejuvenated. So it seems like he looks normal when he's been rejuvenated with these Lazarus babies that he's sucking life out of.
I think, like, especially knowing Snyder, this might legitimately be like an ancient vampire Joker.
Oh, maybe. But I think it's interesting though that when time passes and he needs to rejuvenate again, he looks more like classic Joker because he goes white.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting little touch, but
maybe Absolute Robin's one of these blood babies.
Every time we see anything remotely possible, we're guessing it's Absolute Robin now.
It's a bit. Okay.
Maybe Robin has a nice ring to it.
Yeah, blood baby.
All right, Matt, what are you giving Absolute Batman?
I'm gonna give this an 8.5, and the extra 0.5 is for punting the kid.
Connor, what are you giving Absolute Batman?
I'm giving it a 7. I had fun with it. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, solid 8 out of 10 for me. I like a lot of what it's doing.